Who do you believe created maths, the motion of the sun and moon, modern medicine and many other things? What about the claims that Europeans, Arabs and Babylonians built the remains in Zimbabwe? You might assume that Europeans or Americans were to blame if you were unaware of the pure, unadulterated history of black people. The truth, however, is incredibly different. If we start keeping a track of the accomplishments in Africa that it credited to other people, the list will never stop. To give you an idea of what was accomplished by Africans while the Greeks, Romans and other civilizations were in the dark, we have done research and created a list of African accomplishments. But what are they? In this video, we'll reveal the African achievements the Europeans and the other people took credit for. Let's get started. It could be considered a tragedy that only that portion of African history remains intact when Europeans visited Africa and colonized it. Aside from that, there is no authentic record of black history that have not been fabricated, tampered with, or falsified. This has resulted in many African achievements being attributed to Europeans, as there is no existing evidence to establish a connection between Africa and the inventions that Europeans have taken credit for. However, there is some good news. Over time, scholars and anthropologists have developed a profound interest in Africa due to the presence of the Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. They speculate whether such a magnificent structure could exist in an African country like Egypt. This raises the questions of whether there might be more civilizations and whether the world is unaware of the architecture and inventions that Africa may hold buried beneath layers of rock and dust. One particular story revolves around the remnants of Great Zimbabwe, which had been attributed to Europeans, Babylonians, Arabians, Phoenicians and others, but not to the actual Africans who built them. Great Zimbabwe, situated in present-day Zimbabwe, is recognized as a remarkable accomplishment of African civilization. The awe-inspiring ruins were constructed in the early 12th century and stand as the largest stone ruins south of the Sahara. Initially, outsiders were credited with constructing these structures. However, existing evidence now suggests that it was the Shona people who inhabited the region during that time who were responsible for the construction of these marvelously crafted stone fortifications. Great Zimbabwe served as a center for a thriving gold trade that extended across the Indian Ocean. Early European visitors encountered difficulty accepting the fact that Africans were the masterminds behind these impressive structures. Instead, they attributed their construction to other groups. In the late 1500s, Portuguese traders speculated that the city might be the legendary Queen of Sheba city or the biblical city of Ophir. However, subsequent visitors to the site believed that Phoenicians, Arabs, Egyptians, or even the fabled Christian king Prester John had erected Great Zimbabwe. This demonstrates how people attempted to strip African achievements away from the Africans, disregarding the evidence. Numerous colonizers clung to the Eurasian hypotheses, assigning the ruins to anyone but the historical Shona builders. Nevertheless, archaeologists such as David Randall McLever, Gertrude Catton Thompson, and Roger Summers were among the first to provide evidence confirming the Great Zimbabwe was indeed built by the Shona people. Nevertheless, the belief in the site's exotic origins persisted among many colonizers. Before we proceed, let me ask you, are you enjoying the video? If so, then please like and share and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos. Now let's continue. Something frequently attributed to other people is the phenomenal Ife heads unearthed in Nigeria in the 1940s. The Yoruba people of Africa created remarkable art, including the beautiful Ife heads and brass and terracotta sculptures found in the city of Ife. In the 10th and 11th centuries, Ife was a prosperous city, home to the Oni, the ruler of the Yoruba people and their spiritual leader. While Benin and Oyo were more dominant cities, Ife was revered for its art and cultural significance, particularly its sculptures. The lost wax process was used to create bronze castings in Ife, similar to that being used by the ancient Greeks. The beauty and skill demonstrated in the Ife sculptures are undeniable and a testament to African achievement. The artists at Ife were able to create casts of nearly pure copper, something that the Greeks, Romans, Chinese bronze casters, or even the Italian Renaissance artists couldn't do. Foreigners were likely astounded by the discovery of the Ife sculptures, but many were critical or refused to acknowledge their African origin. Leo Frobenius, a German archaeologist, was one of the first to study Ife in depth. He discovered a grove of Ossanian to the northwest of the palace, where he found two fragments of a terracotta vase in a naturalistic style. Frobenius believed they resembled ancient Greek art and used them to support his theory that a race far superior to the African race once inhabited the area. Frobenius's most famous discovery was the brass head known as Olokon, which only reinforced his Eurocentric viewpoint. He believed he had discovered evidence of a Greek colony on the Atlantic coast of Africa. His publications codified these ideas in popular culture, which astonished the art world. However, all this was mere fantasies, unlike any known African art. The Ife heads, renowned for their exquisite craftsmanship and striking beauty, possessed an immediate allure for individuals well acquainted with European art. They were swiftly hailed as true masterpieces, standing on par with remarkable creations from ancient Egypt, classical Greece and Rome, and the Renaissance era in Europe. Initially, the prevailing assumption was that these remarkable artworks were crafted outside of Africa, either imported or fashioned within Africa by an artist operating within a non-African artistic tradition. Regrettably, the substantial evidence supporting an African origin was extensively overlooked, thus overshadowing their rightful place within the rich tapestry of African artistic heritage. Attributing African achievements to non-African sources reflects a dark continent stereotype, which discredits Africa's rich cultural and artistic heritage. And the story doesn't end with architecture. Did you know that many modern concepts we learn in high school mathematics were first developed in Africa? The Egyptians, over 35,000 years ago, scripted textbooks on math that included division and multiplication of fractions, as well as geometric formulas to calculate the area and volume of shapes. They even used math to predict the size of the Nile floods. Not only that, but they also considered a circle to have 360 degrees and estimated the value of pi to be 3.16, which is extraordinarily closer to the actual value. But the Egyptians weren't the only ones. People in present-day Zaire developed their own numeration system 8,000 years ago. In contrast, the Yoruba people in Nigeria used a system based on units of 20, requiring an impressive amount of subtraction to identify different numbers. Scholars have praised this system for its abstract reasoning. And what about astronomy? Ancient African cultures made incredible discoveries that still form the basis of our knowledge today. For example, the Egyptians meticulously charted the movement of the sun, the constellations and the moon cycles. They even developed a year-long calendar system with 365 and a quarter days. This is just genius. And believe it or not, they made clocks using moving water and sundial-like devices. Even in the field of medicine, before Europe became dominant force, Egypt, Nigeria and South Africa were more advanced. They used plants like salicylic acid for pain relief, which was similar to aspirin, and kaolin for diarrhea. Some extracts were even found to kill gram-positive bacteria in the 20th century. That's not all, because Africans also discovered powerful treatments for cancer, malaria and even abortion. Yes, Africans were living on another level when Europeans were thinking of living. In reality, the ancient Africans and trailblazers in the field of medical procedures, many of which continue to be utilized in modern times. Their advancements included groundbreaking practices such as vaccination, autopsy, limb traction, setting of broken bones, brain surgery, skin grafting, dental fillings, cesarean sections, anesthesia, tissue cauterization, and an array of other remarkable achievements. Notably, while Europeans were merely beginning to comprehend the significance of antiseptic conditions in medical interventions, various African cultures had already been conducting surgeries under these meticulous and sterilized environments. The rich medical heritage of ancient Africa stands as a testament to the remarkable expertise and innovative thinking of its practitioners, leaving an indelible mark on the development and progress of medical science as a whole. But as we know, all these inventions are falsely attributed to Europeans. Don't you think it's unfair not to give credit to the Africans for the achievements we're using today? Doesn't it feel wrong to credit the Europeans or Americans for things they didn't invent or discover? It's important to acknowledge and address the issue of cultural appropriation and the misattribution of African achievements. If you believe that more things have been stolen from Africa and falsely claimed by others, it is crucial to educate ourselves and seek out reliable sources of information. Engaging in critical thinking, examining historical evidence and listening to diverse perspectives can help us uncover the truth. By delving into the vast and rich history of Africa, we can uncover a wealth of knowledge and achievements that have been overlooked or overshadowed. It's essential to challenge the narratives that have perpetuated the idea of African inferiority and the erasure of African contributions. Education plays a vital role in rectifying historical inaccuracies and addressing the cultural appropriation of African achievements. By promoting a more inclusive and accurate representation of history, we can contribute to a more just and equitable society. Furthermore, it is crucial to amplify African voices and perspectives in reclaiming their history and heritage. Listening to the stories, experiences, and insights of African scholars, historians, and cultural experts can provide valuable insights and a more comprehensive understanding of Africa's contributions to various fields. In our relentless quest for knowledge and the pursuit of truth, it's crucial that we dedicate ourselves to the task of unearthing and exalting the authentic African achievements that have been unjustly disregarded or wrongly attributed. By embarking on this mission, we can pay homage to the extraordinary accomplishments of African civilizations and play a vital role in fostering a more precise, comprehensive, and inclusive narrative of human history. By shedding light on these often overlooked contributions, we honor the ingenuity and brilliance of the African people while simultaneously enriching our understanding of the diverse tapestry of human achievement throughout the ages. In conclusion, it is imperative that we challenge the narratives that have inaccurately attributed African achievements to Europeans throughout history. By recognizing and celebrating the genuine contributions of African civilizations, we can rectify historical injustices and build a more inclusive and accurate representation of human achievements. Embracing the diverse tapestry of African accomplishments not only honors the ingenuity and brilliance of African cultures, but also enriches our collective understanding of the shared heritage of humanity. Let's continue to unearth and celebrate these hidden gems, ensuring that the true legacy of Africa's remarkable achievements is rightfully acknowledged and celebrated for generations to come.